Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Friday, April 24th, 2015, around 5:42 in the morning in Belleville, Massachusetts. The sun's going to come up. It's going to be a good day, but it's only going to be in the 50s. Some news to report. The Tampa Bay Rays beat the Boston Red Sox by the score of 2-1 last night. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Boston Celtics by the score of 105-98 last night. The Cavaliers up 3-0, but the Celtics have played the Cavaliers tough this year. They're real goody and stuff, and people thought this series would be Cleveland blowing them out every game, but the Celtics have been in it. Hopefully the Celtics could win Game 4 Sunday. And also last night the Chicago Bulls and Golden State Warriors go up 3-0 in their NBA series. And in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Red Wings and Lightning series is tied at 2. The Nashville Predators stayed alive, and the Capitals took a 3-2 series lead, and Canucks stayed alive. And there's been rumors that Peter Chiarelli has accepted a front office position with the Edmonton Oilers, and 37 years ago today, the classic TV game show Card Sharks with Jim Perry made its debut on NBC. That's about it on the news. My first video subject of the day is about the Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel, an HBO sports series that's been critically acclaimed. It's won many sports Emmys, and it's won a Peabody Award. And it's a sports magazine series that has investigative reporting, takes you beyond what goes on in the game, beyond the box scores and stuff. And it's real good. It started on April 2nd, 1995, and it's been on the air for over 20 years. It's hosted by Bryant Gumbel, who used to be like hosting the Today Show and the CBS Early Show, and he has a background in sports. He started off as an NBC sports and broadcaster back in the 70s and stuff, and this is his return to sports was doing Real Sports. And it first started off quarterly. For the first couple of years it was on the air, but eventually it became a monthly series. And each Real Sports has 4 stories. Usually 3 of them are like new ones, very like new reports. And the 4th one is they update a story that they did over the years and stuff like that. And all of the stories are about society and sports. They usually have in-depth interviews with famous athletes, and they have stuff like problems that are affecting the sports and stuff, and other features. And they have a lot of the reporters go in depth for these stories, like some of the reporters are Mary Carrillo and Frank DeFord and Bernard Goldberg and Andrea Kramer and John Frank Go and Solette O'Brien. Some of the former reporters on Real Sports correspondents were like Jim Lampley and Armand Tainer and James Brown and Brian Burnell and a few others. And usually the stories are pretty good and stuff, and they have had a lot of notable stories over the years. Like many of them had to do with like the NCAA basketball and football things. Also they had like former NFL players after they retire, how it's a struggle in life for them to get around, like especially 400-pounders and stuff. They've had in depth about the concussion scandal in the NFL. Also they had one about like camel jockeys in the Middle East. Another one they had years ago with like Donald Trump buying a golf course in Scotland. And they've had a lot of others. They had in-depth features with athletes over the years. They've had also like another one had to do with like bodybuilding and stuff, how bodybuilders make money when they're not performing in a contest. They've had a few times with like professional wrestling, with back in 2003 with kind of steroids and stuff. And a few years ago they had like DDP yoga and stuff, helping like Jake the Snake Roberts and Scott Hall and stuff. And another one they had was the professional rodeo tour and stuff like that. And after these reports are done, like Brian Gumbel usually has the reporter who reports it, they have like a little bit of a crosstalk and a kind of like, how do you find these stuff and investigations and interviews, how's everything going with this thing, and story updates. And they talk a lot. They say they hope it's a good gets resolved soon, or a happy ending and stuff. It's a real good sports series, Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. It's similar to Outside the Lines and like a few others they used to do on other sports networks, like Going Deep on Fox Sports Net. But this sports show, like Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, it does more investigative reporting, and it's hard hitting that many other sports networks or maybe other news networks won't do. Feature stories about inside sports and stuff, more of what goes behind the scenes and like investigative reporting. And at the end of the show, Brian Gumbel has a little bit of a commentary about what's happening in the world of sports. Some of them have been pretty good commentaries. Other times he's gone like a couple of times a little bit controversial, like a few times like in 2006, and like he said something, the lack of African American athletes in the Winter Olympics. And there was another one he said with the NBA lockout 2011, he was kind of referring to then Commissioner David Stern, with like the players like making like the plantation, like referring to slavery. And another one he said about like when like Roger Goodell was becoming commissioner of the NFL, he says just the leash of the the leash of the Players Association director. Then it was like Gene Upshaw, like the leash, how it is. Some of these have been a little bit controversial, but some of the commentary is pretty good and stuff. And you can watch it. They have new episodes every month of Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. You could watch it on HBO On Demand, and it plays many times over the month on HBO. They have, it's every single month, and the last episode of the year they do, they get all the reporters in, and they talk about the best feature stories of the year. It's pretty good, and I think you should watch Real Sports with Brian Gumbel if you have HBO, because it's a real good show. And that's about it on that. I'll be back later, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, with 2 more video blogs. The first video blog will be about Brigham's Ice Cream and Restaurants, and the third and final video blog of the night will be about Miss Elizabeth, WWE manager, former WWE manager, the late great Miss Elizabeth, who managed Macho Man Randy Savage to the WWE Championship. And there's going to be lots more good stuff on these video blogs in the coming days, weeks, months, and years. And only like 12 more days to go find something to do. Have a good day. Bye now.